Welcome back to ExPhi and Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing our series on our survey, a nationally representative survey of the views of Americans on philosophy. In this video, we're going to be looking at the question, do Americans believe in free will? Now, we just completed a survey of 1,000 randomly selected Americans on their views on a range of topics in philosophy. This is the second video in the series analyzing these data about what everyday Americans believe about philosophy. For more on our survey methodology, visit Carneades.org and check out the methodology blog. So, one of the topics we looked at in the survey is the subject of free will. We have conflicting intuitions about free will. On the one hand, it seems that physical processes in the world are deterministic. They follow the rules of cause and effect. On the other hand, we have the experience of having free choice, that we really could have chosen otherwise, even if our brains are governed by physical, scientific processes that should be deterministic. We also think that people bear moral responsibility for their decisions, even though science seems to imply they could not have done otherwise. These conflicting intuitions lead us to a trilemma. We have three intuitively convincing statements that you cannot hold all of at once. The first is, the universe follows deterministic laws. This can look like a range of different things. It could be the laws of physics, it could be the plan of God, it could be cause and effect, but those laws are deterministic. Second statement, free will is the ability to do other than you are determined to do by these laws. And the third is that free will exists. This creates three positions based on which of these three statements you deny. So, hard determinists deny the third premise, that free will exists. They claim that yes, your actions are determined by some processes, be that the will of God, the laws of physics, or something else. And yes, if you were to have free will, it would mean being able to do otherwise than those laws. But we can't, so free will doesn't exist. The issue for determinists is how to deal with how we can hold anyone morally accountable if they couldn't have ever done otherwise. Others reject the first premise, that the world is deterministic at all. These are called libertarians, not to be confused with political libertarians. They claim that free will means being able to do otherwise from what we are predetermined to do, and that free will exists. Therefore, we have the capacity to do otherwise than what the laws of physics, etc., would determine we would do. The work for the libertarian is describing how we can break the laws of physics with our minds, or how something can violate the principle of sufficient reason. Compatibilists are the third position. They deny the second premise, kind of the definitional one, but assert the first and the third. They claim that we do follow deterministic laws, but free will still exists because free will can be defined as something other than being able to do otherwise. This could be something like being free from coercion, i.e. you're considered free not if you could do otherwise, but if you were not coerced into acting with a knife at your throat. The issue for the compatibilists is defining exactly what that condition that makes people free is. What level of coercion is required for someone to no longer be free? For more on all of these positions, check out our series, Does Free Will Exist? Now, our survey asked participants which statement best corresponded with their views on free will, then listed three statements corresponding to the definitions of hard determinism, compatibilism, and libertarianism. We suspected that these views would be fairly evenly split between the different options, but we were actually wrong. The rest of this video will give you some top-line results, but you can check out the blog for all the details. So, as you can see from the graph above, over 2/3 of Americans identify with libertarianism. Only about a fifth supported compatibilism, and less than 1 in 10 supported hard determinism. Those familiar with the free will defense and the problem of evil might suspect that Christians would be more likely to be libertarians, but we see the opposite. Those with no religion are more likely to be libertarians, while Christians are less likely to be libertarians. Those of other religions, outside of Christianity or the non-religious, are the least likely to be libertarian and the most likely to be hard determinists. A few more interesting demographic notes. Those with a philosophy degree are more likely to be hard determinists and less likely to be libertarians. White people are more likely to be libertarians, while people of other races are more likely to be hard determinists. One of the most interesting conclusions, though, is that there is a very strong connection between belief in AI consciousness and hard determinism. Using a dominance analysis, this was the most likely predictor of determinism, as you can see from the graph above. Those who strongly agree with the statement that AI LLMs have consciousness were much more likely to be determinists. This may have to do with the idea that if an AI can have consciousness, then maybe our brains are more like a computer than we think, and therefore more deterministic. If you already think that computers can have consciousness, you may think that brains are the kind of things that are very similar to computers, and if computers are deterministic, then our minds are deterministic as well. Read through the blog for even more results and additional details on our methodology. If you want, you can run your own analyses. The raw data can be purchased on our Patreon page. Don't forget, we are running another survey soon. If you want to be a part of it, you can add a Likert statement to the survey for just $30 or a full question for $150. See our Patreon page for more details. What do you think of these results? Did they surprise you? Which of these categories do you fall into? What questions would you like to see asked on future surveys about philosophy? Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org and ExPhi, and stay skeptical, everybody.